Welcome everyone to the 2015 Sprint Showdown at Charlotte Race Review. So SUPEREEVEEMASTER is here to recap what went on in the Sprint Showdown, but also what's been going on between tonight and Kansas, and a look ahead to tomorrow's All-Star race. And also I'm going to be talking a little bit about my opinions overall in the All-Star race and what I think could make the All-Star race even better. But anyway, so let's just get into the pre-race notes. And before I even say that, I want to say that obviously this race review is not what you normally see every day. But I thought that because I think the Sprint Showdown I just think that it is important. I think that the race to me is important enough that I think it deserves a race review. But anyway, now let's get into the pre-race notes. So I think the biggest news entering this weekend is Kyle Busch returning to NASCAR after sitting out 11 points races due to his leg and foot injury in the Xfinity Series race at Daytona, where he hit a wall. He hit the inside wall. He hit an inside wall between like the tri-oval and turn number one. I think it was like 90 miles per hour, but that wall had no safer barrier. Yeah, so that's why, for those who don't know, why Kyle Busch has been out so far up until this weekend this year. And a day after it was announced, NASCAR said that Kyle Busch will be chase eligible despite missing 11 races, as long as he wins the race and gets inside to the top 30 in points. And for Kyle Busch, the easiest way to do that is that if he from the first points race, our next points race to the end of Richmond in the fall, he will have to finish inside the top 16 and have one race if he wants to. If he's not, he'll have to like average like a 16th place spot or better from the next points race, the Coca-Cola 600, to the end of Richmond. But I also feel like that, he can get a couple wins and then have a couple bad finishes and still be in pretty good shape, just a little bit. And I think that overall, I think NASCAR made the correct decision in letting Kyle Busch be chase eligible, because I think it is realistic. I think it is very realistic that Kyle Busch can make it into the chase, even though it is a long shot. And Kyle Busch is clearly capable of winning, getting multiple wins in a season, and getting 16th place or better finishes consistently. So I feel like NASCAR did the right thing. Obviously, it would be a story if like Kyle Busch in the chase, and yet he missed the first 11 races of the season. I think that's where some people are a little upset. Are a little upset that NASCAR would would make him chase eligible, and then if he went on to be in the chase, I guess I can understand that. But I think NASCAR made the right call. And when Kyle Busch back in the 18, David Reagan is still going to be in the 55, and also earlier this week, the Furniture Road Racing announced that Brett Moffitt will finish the season in the 34. So I think for the most part, all of the crazy driver swaps that are happening, I think, are now completely done. And I feel like that unless we have another strange event, we should not be having any more driver swaps or driver fill-ins. But another big news was that the format for both the Showdown and the All-Star race has changed just a little bit. So now in the Showdown, there's no more first and second they can advance through at the end of the entire event. What happens is that now, if you win the first segment, you automatically advance into the All-Star race, and to be sure that you don't win the second segment and thus losing the replacement spot you have for what was the second place finish, you go to the garage, and even though you'll finish in the rear by the time the whole event is over, you're still in the All-Star race. and then of course this makes it so that way whoever wins segment 2 is a new winner and a different driver. And then of course there still is the fan vote, and entering the weekend, entering this race, the top 5 voters were Danica Patrick, Clint Boyer, Kyle Larson, Martin Truex Jr., and Josh Wise. And I think Truex has won the fan vote. He won the fan vote in 05. Patrick won the fan vote in 2013, and Josh Wise won the fan vote last year. Don't think Clint Boyer has won the fan vote, and Kyle Larson has definitely not won the fan vote before. But anyway, also changes to the All-Star race was that last year it was 4 20 lap segments, and the final segment was just 10 laps. Now it's 4 25 lap segments, and then there's no change to the final segment, so it stays 10 laps. So now the race is now 20 laps longer, going from 90 laps to 110 laps, which I think like to me, I don't think that change is really going to affect it, just because these aren't changes to like the final segment. I think it could bring in strategy, though. I do see maybe like strategy increasing, and I think it will give drivers time to see what they can do for like the next segment or the final segment. So I guess that's like one, like you could call that a benefit, in increasing the first 4 segments by 5 extra laps. Let's see what's also on my notes. Oh yeah, and back to the sprint showdown. Out of the 29 drivers competing, the 22 drivers are eligible, and the reason why it's not everyone is because you have to in order to be eligible for the fan vote, you had to at least qualify for the 500. You didn't have to race in the 500. You just had to qualify. And so, for example, drivers like a driver like Chase Elliott would not have been eligible for the fan vote because he did not qualify at Daytona. And I kind of feel like, to me, I just think that this rule is I think it's kind of an unnecessary rule, because to me, I feel like that, because to me, it's kind of like, well, I think Chase Elliott would definitely get more votes than Matt DiBenedetto. No way, that's not a good comparison. I think that, to me, it just seems kind of sad, because I think many people would know that Chase Elliott would get more votes than who compete in the 500. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. So I think, to me, I just think that I don't really like that rule, and I wish the rules changed so that way it's like it doesn't matter what race you qualified, or how long you've been driving, or how new you are to the sport. As long as you qualify or you are entered in for the showdown, you'll be eligible for the fan vote. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that. And now let's get into the weekend, unless I have other things on my notes. No, not really. Anyway, so in practice session, Austin Dillon won the only showdown practice, and then Paul Menard won the pole for the showdown. And then Kyle Busch won the All-Star race practice. And I think yep, that is the only practice for the All-Star race. I think in the past they used to have like multiple practice sessions for both events, but maybe I'm mistaken. But anyway, here we go. So green flag in the sprint showdown. Greg Biffle grabs the lead, who restarted second. Paul Menard, and right away it seemed like Paul Menard's cart really seemed to fall off, and I think that, to me, that is possibly a sign of how in the past in qualifying they were in the daytime, and the sprint showdown they were running in the evening, heading towards the nighttime. Mears McDowell had a close call running into the top 10 on the third lap. Charabane kisses the wall, and then Menard was trying to catch Biffle, but he would lose second place to Clint Boyer, and then Greg Biffle had over second lead, and now already a couple cars fell off the lead lap. Brandon Gaughan, Tanner Berryhill, and the 46 of Michael Annett, and then Greg Biffle wins the first segment, thus advancing into the All-Star race, which I think Roush has not had a good season at all. I don't think none of Roush's 3 drivers are inside the top 16 in points. So I feel like for Biffle to win the showdown, even though it's a non-points event and even though it's a short race, I think this will hopefully cause something good to happen for Roush, and I think Roush really needed this. And also, with Biffle now being in tomorrow's All-Star race, this year will make it the 20th consecutive year. I think it was. I think that's what the guys of Blue Move said. The 20th consecutive year that Roush has had an entry into the main event, the All-Star race. But anyway, we had some pit stops, and then some drivers chose to take strategy. And from first to fourth, these drivers took 2 tires. David Reagan, Ron Trix Jr., Kyle Larson, and Justin Allgaier, they all took 2 tires. But then, as soon as we got the restart, Ron Trix Jr. took the lead. Then we had a caution, and this would be our only caution of the day, and that is when J.J. Ellie, who was towards the back, spun off turn number 4. Then we had a restart, and in the first segment, whether it's caution or green flag, all the laps count. In the second segment, only green flag laps count. So restart lap 23, and then 1 lap later we had a 3-wide battle for first between Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Larson, and Cliff Bowyer. And NASCAR and Fox called this one of the most exciting battles for the lead that we've seen all season, if not the most exciting and intense battle for the lead. And to me, I don't think ever since watching the Sprint Showdown, which was in my first one watching it was in 2008, I don't think I've really ever seen a battle like that. If you know what I'm talking about, it was 3 wide for first for almost the entire lap, but then after lap 24, Cliff Bowyer got the lead, and then he was just flying. Paul Menard went into second, but really never had the pass in the car to really catch Bowyer. And then on lap 30, Larson, who was in 4th place, gets tagged by Sam Hornish. I think what happened was that Larson thought the hole was big enough, but then he was mistaken, or Sam Hornish Jr. got a big run when he didn't expect it. Nevertheless, Kyle Larson goes up the racetrack, hits the outside wall just a little bit with its right rear quarter panel, but it causes them to make a pit stop, thus finishing outside. I think they finished in the 24th place. Yes, they did. But then, Clint Bowyer here, he becomes the second winner. He becomes the winner of the second segment, and he will now be in the All-Star race. And I think just like Greg Biffle, Michael Waltrip Racing has not also had the greatest season. Unfortunately, Brian Vickers is sidelined. I think bringing me into the 55. Brian Vickers, I don't think, will be returning back to Michael Waltrip Racing for the remainder of this year and possibly for the future. Clint Bowyer, he is 16th in points, but he only has it over 2 points over Danica Patrick. And I felt like that this week was a great week for Michael Waltrip Racing for something good. I think this week was a week that Michael Waltrip Racing needed something good to happen, and they got it. And I think out of everyone who advanced, outside of the 3 drivers that were in the showdown that made it to the All-Star race, I think Clint Bowyer has the best chance of winning the All-Star race. I don't think he will win, but I think Clint Bowyer has the best out of the 3 cars. Biffle, Bowyer, and Patrick. And speaking of Patrick became the winner of Patrick won the fan vote. They never say how much she wins the fan vote unless they'll say it tomorrow night. But she became the first driver to win the fan vote twice, and as long as she's in NASCAR, I think she'll win the fan vote a couple more times. I think what helps her win the fan vote over drivers like Larson and Truex Jr. was because not only does she have a lot of fans, I think like her, her good performances at tracks like Martinsville and Bristol. I think she almost got a top 15 at Texas, and after Martinsville, she was up in 13 points, and for a couple races, she's been hanging inside the top 16, and she's only 2 points out. She's only two points from being inside the top 16. So I think it was these good runs that helped Patrick win the fan vote, and encourage more people to vote for her. But me personally, it kind of sucked to see Martin Truex Jr., who is second in the points, not get the fan vote. I voted for him when the fan vote opened, and then I wasn't able to vote anymore just because for some reason on my laptop there was always some technical difficulties with them being like, we need your email address, even though I typed my email address again, in over and over, but yet it was never able to work for me. So unfortunately, I couldn't vote for Martrix Jr. more times. So it just kind of sucks to see that Martrix Jr. will not be in the fan vote. I think Martrix Jr., you know, he's made it. You know, he obviously he won the Showdown in 2007 and 2010 and finished second in the 2010 All-Star race. So he has proven to get good runs at in the All-Star race before, and I thought that his good performance at Kansas would have helped him, but I guess not. But either way, I'm just a little sad that Mark Jr. is in the All-Star race. But oh well. I don't think I don't think Patrick is gonna win unless like everyone in front of her wrecks, which that has never happened. But I kind of almost want to see it happen, you know. But I think she'll have a better car than some of the other drivers if they can tweak the car. And I think to me that's one of the great benefits I see coming from having the Showdown in the All-Star race on 2 different days, which was done like back a year ago. Because I feel like, you know, by having the Showdown and the All-Star race on 2 different days, I think it gives the drivers who advance to the All-Star race like more time to work on their cars. You know, because for example, in the past time, it was like you won the Showdown or you finished second, or you won the fan vote, and then it was like literally like an hour or two or somewhere in between, you'd be competing for the All-Star race. And I don't think that you were allowed to make changes. And I think so. I feel like to me, I think this gives the drivers who advance the way into the All-Star race more time to work on their cars and have a better run in the All-Star race. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on that. I just gotta check some here. But anyway, so I'm also so I think now I would like to look forward to Toronto's All-Star race. As a whole, there were 17 drivers that were locked in. And it actually would have been slightly less than that. But the thing is that another new format change was that now it used to be you could also be locked in. You could also be locked into the All-Star race if you have won in the past 10 years. Earlier in the year, that rule changed to it doesn't matter what year you win as long as you are. I think you have to be like a full-time driver, you know. So yeah, so that opened the door for drivers like Ryan Newman and Matt Kenseth to get back into the All-Star race, because they would have been competing in the Showdown if that didn't happen. But I think overall, I think the thing is that I've been watching All-Star races since 2008, and what I have to say here is that I don't know if I could put like any of the All-Star races inside my like top 15 best races of the year. Maybe not even like top 20, because I think to me it's just that like I don't really feel like that. It's just that like a lot of like hype and production goes into this event, and yeah, I don't think that the racing that we get in these events really lives up to all the hype and production that is going into this. And I think the thing is I feel like one is the track. To me, Charlotte is just a track where it's like these drivers get really separated. They get separated really far very fast. So I feel like that does not allow for a lot of like passing, whether it's passing for the lead or passing for 7th place. But maybe the new rules package, which has increased the amount of passes we have seen under green flag, you know, and it's caused, and now it's allowed drivers at certain tracks to actually run almost wide open throughout the whole entire racetrack. We saw some reports of that at Kansas, you know. So I think it'll just be interesting. Yeah. So I think what would make the All-Star race just a little more unique is that if they went to different venues every single year. So it's like, okay, this year we'll be at Charlotte. Next year we go to Bristol. The year after that we go Watkins Glen. I think that would make the event really cool, special, unique, and different, because I feel like that I think it could give us surprises, you know, and obviously you would not have like a notebook from like the previous two to really help you. So there would be a little bit of like uncertainness every single year. But I also feel like that, to me, I think it'd be cool to maybe have like to maybe like bring back like like eliminations. I think the reason why like because the thing is there were eliminations. I think it was in years like 2002 and 2003 that had the eliminations, but I think they were taken out. Like I'm sure if I was an Oscar fan watching it at that time, I probably would have been one of those people who would have been like get rid of the eliminations. But I think to me now I feel like that if we had eliminations, I think it might make. I think it would at least give us a chance to see like it's like okay between the fourth and fifth segment we cut the field down to like to like the top 10. So here we are. So here are our 10 fastest or luckiest drivers, and just have like a 10 like those drivers compete, you know, or maybe and I think they did this also around like 2003. They had like a particular segment of where it's like okay the winner of the last segment has to start dead last. The second place driver starts second to dead last, and so on. You know, I think that'd be like a cool thing to bring back because I think it would not only would it present the fast drivers a challenge, but it would also give us a chance to see drivers that maybe all along they just needed the clean air. But I think it'll just be interesting, and I think like the last thing that I want to conclude on. Wait a second, I actually forgot to actually go through the patient order. I totally forgot about this. But anyway, yeah. So, anyways, whoa, well, how did I forget this? Let's I'm just gonna go through the finishing order. First place was well, our two winners were Biffle and Boyer, and then if we do it by the results of after the second segment, Menard finished second, Truex Jr. third, Hornish fourth, Chase Elliott fifth, Austin Dillon sixth, Bain seventh, Algar eighth, Patrick ninth, Casey Mears 10th, 11 points to David Reagan, 12 points to Michael McDowell, 13th Gilliland, 14th Colbert, 15th Matt DiBenedetto, 16th Jed Burdain, 17th Josh Wise, 23rd, not 23rd, the number 23 car of J.J. Yeley finished 18th, Jeff Green 19th, the 33 of Alex Kennedy finished 20th, 21st went to Tanner Berryhill, 22nd was Brendan Gaughan, 23rd Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 24th Kyle Larson, 25th Michael Nett, 26th Alex Bowman, 27th Landon Castle, 28th Mike Bliss. They're showing me like 28 drivers on this list, but maybe someone DNF that I did not pick up unless someone, if anyone knows in the comments, you can go ahead and tell me like if there was a 20 driver and what that 20 driver was. But I think overall, and I think now what I'm gonna do right here is I'm not gonna go into like who surprised me or disappointed me. I think I'll save that for tomorrow's event. But I think if there's one driver I would pick, I think to me based on his history at Charlotte, but also overall he has a lot of momentum and and all three of his wins have been on Mountain Haas. I think Johnson would be, I think, a pretty obvious pick to win. And I think that Johnson gets a good qualifying position and finishes well in all four segments. I think he, I think he can, and I think he will win. But I think if I were to pick someone other than Johnson, I'm going to go with Matt Kenseth. I know that Joe Gibbs Racing has not particularly been good, or they haven't had the best luck Mountain Haas. But when I think back to Kenseth has had good runs in the All-Star race before. I think it was in 2013. It might have been like both like 2013 and 2014, and he had like top fives or top tens. He won his first career race at Charlotte in the 2000 Coca-Cola 600. So I feel like Matt Kenseth to me is kind of like a dark horse for this race. But anyway, I think that's pretty much everything I have to say. So I want to thank everyone for watching this race review. Be sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and buy, and be sure, and if you want to, be sure to tune in to my channel tomorrow night when I recap what went out in the All-Star race. Anyway, bye.